What is up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another trade recap. And as you guys know, you're probably on this video because you saw my trades in the last few days. And the withdrawal has just come in, and I'm in a good mood to make a trade recap. This is by far the biggest payout that I've received from a single trade that I've taken. And this was also on my live account. That's why it's in crypto. Basically, every other trade recap that I've made, all the targets that I was aiming for, this was just the move that actually gave me the opportunity to run to it. And there was a lot of times where I wasn't able to get my entry, even though I had that narrative and those targets above. It was running lower than I expected because I didn't see one of the targets until literally last night, and then I realized, oh shoot, this is what it's actually aiming to do. And this is what actually gave us the opportunity to enter and secure such a fat payout. So let's actually hop into the charts and go over the trade that I actually took last night and then my narrative around it. And then also something that almost threw me off and literally got me out of the position. Like you guys might have seen in the Telegram. Let me pull this up. My account balance was literally $10 at some point. That's because I was adding positions, and that wick that came down, basically like from the $200 in my account, I was adding positions and it ran down back on the positions that I had. So it just took those positions out, and my account even went into some negative like numbers at some point. And that's just what happens if you're like obviously over risking. You know, I'm on a what my technique has been recently is to basically drop like a small amount and just try to flip it to like a crazy amount by using the leverage that I'm given by this broker, which is LHFX, by the way. Gonna link it in bio if you guys want to start trading live. It's not a USA broker, so you can't sign up if you're from the USA. I got lucky because it was previously Eagle FX, and then they merged together, so they just let me keep my account, which is kind of chill. Anyways, so last night I see price start running, and my actual target. So let's just start off from the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame, we have this weekly fair value gap. And part of the reason why I closed my trade already instead of aiming for like 10K or whatever is because it's already Thursday and the market comes to a close tomorrow. So if the market's coming to a close, the weekly candle is coming to a close, and it's likely going to aim to close closer to the fair value gap of the weekly time frame. So I just aimed for the lowest hanging fruit, and I closed my position there because there is a chance that it pulls back down before continuing higher. So I'm expecting next week to actually be the week that runs on those targets I mentioned in the previous trade recap videos. So what we have here is a weekly bullish fair value gap, and we were right here, and I was already looking for buys. I was looking for buys from up here because the daily candles also closed bullish. Like these ones right here, literally closed bullish right here. It respected this fair value gap. So the high marked out right here is a fair value gap low. So that literally respected it, and I was willing for it to run without even tapping into the weekly fair value gap. So once it ran to the weekly fair value gap, I was obviously already super bullish, and I was like, we don't have to go lower. This is a bullish month. And so I was buying basically the whole time, and I just simply wasn't able to get my entry. And I didn't realize until yesterday when I sent out, oh shoot, this is what it's actually aiming for. And let me see. I want to see how long ago I actually sent this out. Okay, I guess not. Right here. So it was yesterday. Okay, at 10 p.m. Yeah. So I didn't realize until yesterday, but on the monthly candle, it basically was aiming for this wick to rebalance it. So if this monthly candle had continued going higher and just left this low, there would be a new fair value gap. And one of the techniques, which is a concept that we learn from ICT, is called immediate rebalance, and that's also where I got out as my low-hanging fruit. And I'll show you guys the example from the previous month as well. Basically what it is preventing a new fair value gap from forming. So what the market does, I'm just gonna wait for this jet to fly by. They have no chill, bro. Just let me do my trade recap videos in peace. Okay. So what the monthly candles aim to do sometimes, or just candles in general, it doesn't matter what time frame, is if it wants to continue higher, it avoids leaving inefficiencies. Because if there's a fair value gap, it's going to be a magnet that pulls price back down to it. So what it does is it comes and overlaps with the previous wick to prevent a new fair value gap from forming. So it's going to look like it's running down bearish, but it's actually just rebalancing the wick so that it can continue going higher. That's what it did in the previous month, and I realized that's what's going on here. So I saw this get tapped yesterday, and I even started aiming for it. I even sold to it right there. So I even took a little sell to it, and nothing big, but it kept my account alive nonetheless. And so once I saw that happen yesterday, I also scaled down to the weekly time frame, and I realized this was also the midpoint of this wick. Wicks also act like fair value gaps, so I was just like, here's another additional confluence that we can use. My most important reason for actually going long there was because it immediately rebalanced that monthly fair value gap like moments before London session opened. So it was just like, hey, this is like a little too good to be true. Like, it was obviously aiming for this monthly candle rebalance as like right before London session starts, so that when London session starts, we can just start running up. And that's what happened. So scaling down, I'm obviously looking for all those targets that we missed. And so scaling down, I honestly just started trading off of super low time frame IFEGs. Like, from this move right here, I even got a position at the literal bottom. Like, I'll show my positions. Okay, I don't think I sent it out, but basically one of these positions was super low, 3131, 3131, 3131, somewhere here. It was super low position. And then I even caught the low on this leg right here. So what I was not expecting was this wick. But, I mean, it was reasonable that price did end up doing this. Because if it's, like, the way that it expanded, it already expanded today, like, literally, like, 800 pips. Like, it's insane how much it actually ran, right? So if it's going to run up like that, it's obviously going to try to take out as much buyers as possible before running. And this move right here definitely swept a lot of liquidity before it ran up. It definitely took out a lot of orders. So it ran up and created this IFEG, which I was aiming for, and I sent it out and I said, there's a 1 hour IFEG, and I feel kind of bad for anybody that might have entered there, because unlike me, who has experience with seeing this kind of stuff, these people probably immediately thought, oh, we didn't respect it at all, and it's probably going to keep going down as it has been going. But there was obviously the higher time frame narrative there that I sent out, which if you didn't ignore, we obviously had that right here, midpoint of the weekly wick, and then immediately rebalance this. I'll be looking for longs, I said, because the timing is perfect. London session opens in 4 minutes. Like, exactly what I just told you guys is everything that was going on in my head. And I was like, this is too perfect. I know it's going to go up. And that move almost like liquidated my account. Because it ran down and took out a lot of the positions that I was adding, expecting price to just expand higher. So obviously I barely survived, and I ended up surviving with like one of my positions down here, which allowed me to like close, re-enter in some profit. And then I started scaling in new positions from there, and as a result I had to do more 0.01s to actually add some size to this. So once I scaled up with the 0.01s, I think I had a total of like 0.8, which is not even like one lot yet. And then from 0.8, I was actually able to add like another like 0.6 later, like up here once we got this IFEG. And so you would have seen that my positions were also right here, and that was where I last entered positions. Was it right there? No, it was right here, somewhere right here, because I was expecting it to actually run up into the weekly fair value gap. So I woke up with a lot of profit this morning, and it was like right here, and there was a news event. So I also sent out the news event, and I said, Powell better not ruin my mood today, because I was definitely a little bit scared. Powell better not ruin my mood today, because there was definitely a possibility that news does something crazy. But I was expecting it to go up because we finally hit that immediate rebalance. The monthly seasonal narrative is really bullish, so we're obviously looking for that to expand. And I mean, if you guys have any questions relating to my risk management or like how I layer in positions, feel free to drop a comment and I'll go over that in another video. But that's basically it. And I was content. Oh, by the way, my exit. So I was thinking low hanging fruit could have been this weekly fair value gap, but it doesn't really make sense because this is a bullish fair value gap. So instead of like getting out of my position there, I aimed for the next low hanging fruit, which was immediately rebalancing this one. So before it got there, this was a like gap. Like the candle was like down here and there was a gap there. So I was just expecting it to come up and rebalance this before potentially going back into the weekly fair value gap and closing there Friday. So yeah, we'll see where the candle actually closes. I'm no longer interested in taking any trades. I have some exams to work on and homework. So I'm just going to do that and wait for next week for more opportunities to get us to the targets that I mentioned last week that we missed, which is like super nice. Like we have this target right here, which is the daily IFVG low. We have this bearish FVG, and then we have a wick or a candle without a wick up here, and then we have a bearish fair value gap right here, which also didn't get tapped yet. So all those targets are going to be stuff that I'm going to be aiming for next week, and hopefully I'll get another 5K payout. Pushing 20K this month. Last week we made 4,000, and this is already pushing us to like 12 for the month. So really grateful, and I'm happy like that I'm finally able to make this kind of money. It took a while to get myself to this point psychologically where I'm able, like I could have closed my position a long time ago. Like I could have closed it last night with up 2K or 3K, but it's like psychologically I'm pushing myself because I know that it's going to go up. You know, I know that there's targets, and like why would I close early? And before I would close early, and that would genuinely make me suffer because if I was to like blow my account after, and I'd have to end up losing another like 1,000 or 2,000 trying to like pass my funded account in the past when I was doing prop firms, like that would have made me suffer because I wouldn't profit much at the end of the day if I ended up spending another 1,000 or 2 on accounts, you know. So I had to figure out a way to go for more, and live accounts has definitely been easier for me to make money because previously I'd have to wait for a literal week to get a payout, and I wouldn't be able to trade a lot of the moves that I saw in the week. So yeah, definitely takes a lot of time for like everything to click and you to figure out the style of trading that you want to have. And right now, you know, I'm just doing live account and I'm basically over leveraging and flipping an account. But eventually I'm going to scale back into like this prop firm system where I put more money in an account and I just switch everything that I would make inside. And you'd see a lot more scalps from me because I wouldn't need to hold trades for that long. And I would probably have shorter span of trades because like right now sometimes it takes like 20 hours for my trade to hit. And it's like at that point it's just a job. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next trade recap. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a good rest of your week.